there are a lot of people out there that will try to paint the picture that King James onlyists are just some cult of ignorant rednecks out in the woods somewhere. Well, that's crap. I'm going to read some quotes from some people that have the same education, went to the same colleges, took the same Greek classes, and they come out with totally different opinions. Dr. D.A. Waite, who is not a strong Bible believer, but he at least admits that the King James Bible is the most accurate translation in the English language. Dr. Sam Gipp, the scholarship of the men who translated the King James Bible is literally unsurpassable by today's scholars. If you read about the King James translators, it was just incredible. I think one of them was fluent in Hebrew and Greek by the time he was 5 years old. Dr. Kent Hovind, I think anyone who speaks English should read the King James. Dr. Kirk DiVietro, the plethora of Bible translations, each claiming to increase the readability while sacrificing textual purity and accuracy of translation, has resulted in a watered-down, anemic Christianity. This next quote is from an audio tape. It's Dr. S. Franklin Logsdon, who wrote the original preface to the New American Standard Version.
I said, I must, under God, renounce every attachment to the New American Standard. I'm afraid I'm in trouble with the Lord. We laid the groundwork. I wrote the format. I helped to interview some of the translators. I sat with the translators. I wrote the preface. When you see the New American Standard, they're my words. I can't refute these arguments. It's wrong. It's terribly wrong. It is frightfully wrong. I can no longer ignore these criticisms I'm hearing, and I can't refute them. The deletions are absolutely frightening. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with it. The finest leaders we have today, they haven't gone into it just as I hadn't gone into it. That's how easily one can be deceived. You can say the authorized version is absolutely correct. If you stand against everyone else, stand.
Here's another quote from Dr. Logsdon. As a member of the editorial committee in the production of the Amplified New Testament, we honestly and conscientiously felt it was a mark of intelligence to follow Westcott and Hort. Now what you have in these books, Which Bible and True or False by D.O. Fuller, strikes terror to my heart. It proves alarmingly that being conscientiously wrong is a most dangerous state of being. God help us to be more cautious lest we fall into the snares of the arch deceiver. Gail Riplinger, who has an honorary doctorate for her book New Age Bible Versions, because it took her so long to do it, it was like a doctoral dissertation. She said, years ago, young ladies would come into my office at the university, and I noticed that those who were using the modern translations seemed to be unstable emotionally, depressed, anxious, all those sorts of things. And it made me stop to think, perhaps that's why psychology has moved into the church. Dr. Gerardus Bau, the first myth brought about by the corruption of Bible lexicon is that only the original autographs were inspired. Implicit in this view is the belief that God did not bother to preserve His words in pure form, though some say that the originals can be reconstructed by scholarship. Obviously, it does not occur to them that without the original autographs to compare them to, there is no way to know whether or not the original has been restored. We see the world's languages becoming less sophisticated in time, not more. Anyone who would take the trouble to find out just why the authorized Bible used odd phraseology at times would soon be amazed at how much detail, explicitness, and fine structure the English language has lost in the last 400 years. There is no language in the world which is naturally or evolutionarily improving. The sentence structures and parts of speech are fast losing distinctiveness. I started a critical reading of the Bible from cover to cover, searching for inconsistencies and any contradictions between an infinite God and the God of the Bible. Fortunately, God was watching out for me, in that the only Bible I owned was an authorized version, the only English Bible free of such contradictions. Any other version, and I would have been left with no alternative but agnosticism. The only absolutely trustworthy information about the origin and purpose of all that exists and happens is given by God in His infallible, preserved Word, the Holy Bible, commonly called the King James Bible. Dr. Peter Ruckman. The average Christian can never get a clear picture of what goes on behind the closed doors in a Christian seminary or university in America, for the simple reason that you have to attend the classes held there to find out what is going on. The educational goal is to destroy the belief in absolute authority coming from God and put in its place the relative authority of man, composed of the preferences and opinions of men who consider themselves fully equipped to be your guide instead of the Holy Bible itself. The fact that some of the professors are saved, while some are lost, is immaterial to the results of their scholarship. The results are the nearly total destruction of biblical Christianity in America. The crime rate doubles every other year, the divorce rate tripled in less than 10 years. It isn't just pathetic, it's a loony bin. The key to understanding the Bible, or the author of it, God, is a believing heart and a humble mind. Higher formal Christian education is probably the greatest hindrance to understanding the Bible of anything a young man could get involved in, outside of Satanism and black magic. Greek is a dead language. The King James Bible has led at least 100 times more people to Christ than the original manuscripts ever did, and that's a masterpiece of understatement. Dr. Ken Matto. This is a serious issue, and no Christian can take the corruption of God's Word lightly. The modern versions are undergirded with Gnostic corruptions in their manuscripts, corrupted as far back as the 2nd century. This is a major element in spiritual warfare, and Christians can no longer stick their head in the sand. God cannot bless sin, and He will not bless the use of any corrupted Bible version. This is the reason that Christians are weak and confused in their Christian walk, and why churches are weakened to the point of destruction. These versions are like a virus on a computer. It comes in stealthily and eventually affects the whole church. Dr. Terry Watkins. For a work of its volume and serious subject matter, the poetic splendor defies human logic. The King James Bible is the words of God. If you have a King James Bible, you have the Word of God. Dr. Jack Hyles. God is the author of the King James Bible. The devil wants to get you away from the King James Bible, and he doesn't care which way you go. All the other versions that change the King James Bible are satanically inspired. Dr. Edward Hills, Ph.D. In regard to Bible versions, many contemporary Christians are behaving like spoiled and rebellious children. They want a Bible version that pleases them, no matter whether it pleases God or not. We want a Bible version in our own idiom, they clamor. We want a Bible that talks to us in the same way in which we talk to our friends over the telephone. We want an informal God, no better educated than ourselves, with a limited vocabulary and a taste for modern slang. But God is bigger than you are, dear friend, and the Bible version which you must use is not a matter for you to decide according to your whims and prejudices. It has already been decided for you by the workings of God's special providence. Receive by faith the true text of God's holy word, which has been preserved down through the ages and is now found in the King James Version.